1992 marks the 100th anniversary of Alabama football, a century of champions that would never have been possible without the tremendous support of our great fans. I also want to thank our centennial patrons who have helped make this celebration possible. I know you'll enjoy these videos. Roll Tide.
Third career start. A guy who's thrown for more than 5,000 yards in his 4-year career at Notre Dame. Play action and boom! Down he goes! Cornelius Bennett! Loose ball? No, the trip calls for fumble. Oh my goodness, did Cornelius Bennett bury him at the 25-yard line?
Alabama and the big play. Just as natural as Alabama and college football. As perfect as crimson and white. Hello, I'm Keith Jackson. It's amazing how many big plays in Alabama's first 100 years of football have happened right here in Legion Field in Birmingham. Maybe it's because so many Auburn, Tennessee games have been played here, and television's been coming here since the early 60s. I know that I called a lot of the big games myself here in this old stadium, but let me tell you something, folks. There was never a bigger play than the one that happened in the 1985 Auburn game. A little fella named Van Tiffin from Red Bay, walking the sidelines with seconds to play. Bama had led most of the game, but with dark coming on, Auburn had grabbed the lead by a point, 23-22. Then it was time. Van Tiffin was sent forth. A fourth field goal try from a mere 52 yards to win.
I can just remember, it leaving my foot, and then I can't even feel it. Any other kick, I can feel it when it leaves. It was just like I couldn't feel a thing. And then I thought, well, I looked up. And of course, when I got halfway there, I knew it was good.
It's a magic moment of youth, of college football, that you can never forecast the big play. And how about the 1967 Iron Bowl? Legion Field was more like a Legion Lake. Rain and more rain back when they played on real grass and mud. Again, it was Auburn. Late in the day, the Tigers leading 3-0.
Man in motion right. Here's Stabler, keeping himself. Stabler now cuts in. He's at the 40-yard line. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. He's scored. Here it comes again. Stabler, there goes the end. Here's the block by Holman. There was a block by Mike Hall back there, too. Chatwood's blocked and Stabler turned it on. I could watch that all night.
Kenny Stabler's famous run in the mud covered 53 yards, the longest Tide run of the season. Good for a 7-3 victory. Let's go back in time, back to the 1965 Orange Bowl in our recollection of big plays. Texas was leading 21-17, 4th and goal, Alabama very late. The media had worn out the fact Joe Namath was playing with a sore knee. Coach Paul Bryant figured, do the unexpected, sore knee and all, quarterback sneak. Just short, according to the linesman, not according to Joe.
I know. I was over the line. I got back up and crossed it to argue with the official. And I learned how to accept the loss like that. It was an awful feeling. Also, the 4th down attempt, Coach Bryant tried to cover up for me for some strange reason and said he called the play. Maybe he did. I was unaware of it. I thought I called it. And it was interest to go, and I have a philosophy, as the Alabama football team has, that we can whip anybody for that distance. And I believe we did whip them for that distance. We just didn't get credit for it.
Oh, well, on to the next level and new adventures. There is really no way you can adequately portray big play football history at Alabama without dealing some with that infamous play in 1954 at the Cotton Bowl. The Tide was playing Rice with the great running back Dickie Magle, and when the swift one with the name with the umlaut broke loose and headed down the sidelines for a 95-yard touchdown run, young Tommy Lewis couldn't stand it. And when Magle passed the bench, Tommy nailed him dead center. They gave Magle his touchdown, and Tommy Lewis's infamy has long since melted into fond memory. Rice won the ball game 28-6. Alabama's touchdown? Yep, Tommy Lewis. One of the most daring big plays in Alabama football history goes back to Wallace Wade, 1931 Rose Bowl game against Washington State. Wade started his second team against the Cougars, knowing well that if they held them defensively, it could bring a huge emotional collapse across the field. It worked. 24-0 Alabama. And like Coach Wade said so many times, nobody ever wins a football game, somebody loses it. In any great come-from-behind victory, you wonder if the coaches have been able to make the crucial adjustments at halftime that can turn things for you. Alabama owes one of its most exciting last-minute wins to the indomitable spirit of a quarterback who just simply wouldn't leave Sanford Stadium without a win. It happened against the Georgia Bulldogs in 1985, and it happened in the last minute of play.
It was our opening game. We had come off a difficult year the year before, and I think guys just really wanted to concentrate, and I think everyone kept together and knew we had a chance to do it. It was a great thrill to be able to execute. It's something that you dream about as a quarterback.
Shula to throw, big rush, Mike looking, firing into the end zone, touchdown Alabama! Alabama leads!
Final score, Alabama 20, Georgia 16. The big play doesn't have to decide a game with time running out. It can set the tone for a game. On the first play from scrimmage against Nebraska in the 1967 Sugar Bowl, Ken Stabler passed to end Ray Perkins. Went for 45 yards. 7 plays later, Les Kelly rammed his way into the end zone for the touchdown. And it was over before it started. Nebraska did not score until the fourth quarter. Bama added to its list of big plays with the final score of the day. Again, Stabler to Perkins. Again, 45 yards.
Real great play by Kenny Stabler. He could have had a big loss. But here you see, nice block over there by Wayne Cook. Terrific block by Wayne Cook, and Ray Perkins goes in for another score. Look at this. This is the play that Coach Williamson wanted to put in. That was threw twice, completed twice, one for a touchdown. But without Stabler's terrific play there, and without this block of Wayne Cook, well, of course, about the 11 men, it wouldn't have been. Look at Perkins turn it on. He has that tremendous speed and great desire. Ray Perkins, truly a great football player and a great young man, a great leader.
The Tide dominated the Cornhuskers 34-7. Big plays come in different wrapping. Sometimes inspiration for them come from unexpected sources. Like the 1963 Orange Bowl game, Alabama's playing mighty Oklahoma. Well, his advisors had suggested to President John Kennedy that he visit the Oklahoma locker room before the ball game. It made sense. Oklahoma was famous. Oklahoma was favored. Well, around the corner, you know what was going on. Bear's got his skinny little old kids in that locker room, and he's in high baritone, telling them how the President of the United States was snubbing Alabama. Well, by kickoff, the Red Elephants were exactly that, red and elephants. the field, the Tide played like crimson was in their blood. Joe Namath hit Richard Williamson for a 25-yard touchdown. And Cotton Clark ran 15 yards for another. Leroy Jordan had 31 tackles. Final score, Oklahoma, nothing. Alabama, 17. And thank you, presidential advisors. In times past, the Alabama-Georgia Tech series has had a lot of everything, including thrills and big plays, and especially when Paul Bryant and Tech coach Bobby Dodd were matching wits. 1960, Tech had led for 59 minutes, 59 seconds. Quarterback Bobby Skelton, in relief of injured Pat Tremmel, led the Tide back from a 15-0 halftime deficit and set the table for Richard Odell, who had never made a field goal in college. Till 1960. Bingo! 1964, it was that fellow Namath again. In the final minute 20 of the first half, off a recovered fumble, Namath connected with David Ray for 48 yards. Steve Bowman dove in for the touchdown. Onside kick, Tide recovered. Namath on the mark to Ray Ogden to the Tech 3. Ray again for the touchdown. Tech was stunned. Final score, Alabama 24, Georgia Tech 7. One of my favorite people in college football was Dave Nelson, whose humor and wit helped him follow Tom Harmon at tailback in Michigan. He brought us the wing T formation as the head coach at Delaware, and he succeeded his own coach, Fritz Kreisler, as the guru of college football rules. Well, Dave Nelson was clearly on record that Paul Bryant caused more rules changes than any coach ever. Not necessarily in what he did, but how he did it. '66 Orange Bowl against Nebraska, quarterback Steve Sloan to wide receiver Ray Perkins. That was the heralded combination. But double coverage has always left somebody uncovered, like a tackle named Jerry Duncan.
Coach Bryant and Steve Sloan, the quarterbacks at that time, were the guys that actually planned it. And I told Sloan after the game, I said, "My goodness, looks like you could have told me that you were going to call this thing, because we were playing on national TV, like I said, for the national championship, and we opened the game with the tackle eligible play, and when he called it, I almost didn't come out of the huddle because we were playing in front of 80,000 people, and of course millions watching on TV, and needless to say I was a little nervous, but thank goodness I didn't have time to think about it at the time, primarily I guess because I was playing in front of a guy that night that outweighed me 80 pounds, so just thinking about getting my hands on the football meant I didn't have to block that guy.
There are two long burning series in the first 100 years of Alabama football. One of them against Tennessee. 1966 at Knoxville. It's raining. Kenny Stabler and Wayne Cook had hooked up to close the score to 10-8 Tennessee in the fourth quarter. Stabler then put together a brilliant drive, and with time running out, 4th and 1, Steve Davis nailed it right down the middle of the road. Alabama to the lead, 11-10. But with what little time remained, Tennessee came storming back and then missed a chance to win with a field goal try from the 3 as time ran out. '72, again Knoxville. Again, fourth quarter, and again Tennessee leading. Defensive end John Mitchell recovered a fumble, setting up a 22-yard touchdown run by Terry Davis, and the Tide won it 17-10. 1973, a swift opening in that one, leading to a 42-21 romp for the Tide. Gary Rutledge on the first snap of the ball game hits Wayne Wheeler. It's good for 80 yards and a touchdown.
The game's up to that point. We had opened the game with a dive to the fullback to see how they were going to defense the wishbone, and so we just faked the dive this time. And they just sucked up to the play, and then Wayne he was 15, 20 yards wide open. I was almost afraid I would overthrow him. So it was just a perfect setup for 3 games before that.
(1975), the defense owned the drum. Leroy Cook and Bob Baumhauer had the sticks and knew how to use them. 13 sacks, 30-7, Alabama. Didn't need brass nor woodwinds in that one. And so many others in this series.
1st and 10 at the 33-yard line of the Volunteers. Here's Shealy dropping back, looking, throwing to Tim Travis. Touchdown! Tim Travis!
At its 10-yard line, Tennessee showing a 6-man front. Play action done standing at his own goal line. Throwing deep down the boundary. Pierre Good wide open at midfield. He'll go all the way. Good will score. Touchdown Alabama.
Bama going to the shotgun here with the wideouts either way. Little Utah flip to Saran Stacy. He breaks free to the 40, to the 50. He turns it on. He's going to go. Saran Stacy, touchdown on the little flip pass from Gary Hollingsworth. And listen to the party here at Legion Field.
This is for the win, folks. A 47-yard field goal. The spot is there. The kick is up. The kick is straight. The kick is good. Alabama wins.
When it's time for the Alabama-Auburn game, Legion Field becomes the Iron Bowl. I mean, the Vulcan fairly glows. If you came here from a foreign land for this game and you heard Roll Tide and War Eagle and all the noise that goes with that weekend, you would surely think the Yanks have finally flipped. But we know, don't we? We know this is a great college football series. Let's go to 1960. The big play comes off Tommy Brooker's foot. 25-yard second quarter field goal. And then a tenacious Tide defense took things in their own hands and beat 8th-ranked Auburn 3-0. A score by the special teams got Alabama on the board against Auburn in 1964. Ray Ogden raced the length of the field on a kickoff return for a touchdown. Three big plays against Auburn in 1965 had one common denominator: Steve Sloan. He rewrote the series record book that afternoon with 3 touchdown passes. An 11-yarder to Tommy Tollison. A 33-yard strike to Ray Perkins. And a 29-yard shot to Don Schenkel. Alabama scored first, scored often, and led throughout. It ended 30-3, Bama. The offense and the defense shared the spotlight in 1971. Alabama had two men with 2 touchdowns each. Terry Davis and Johnny Musso. The defense destroyed Auburn's running game, allowing only 47 yards rushing. Pat Sullivan, harassed all day, had one of the least productive days of his college career. Alabama won 31-7. In 1974, the defense again stepped forward with the big play. It was late in the game. Alabama led 17-13, but Auburn was threatening. But Mike Dubose stole the ball from Bill Gargis and saved the day. The national championship was within reach for Alabama in 1979, yet it faced one final obstacle in the Iron Bowl, a determined and challenging Auburn team. Alabama would win that game and that title, but it would take this 82-yard fourth-quarter come-from-behind drive to do it.
Wide side of the field is left. Looking out that way is Stedman Shealy. Shealy rides it in, keeps himself, goes to the left, keeps the 5, 2, touchdown for Stedman Shealy. And Alabama regains the lead.
In 1984, the Iron Bowl came down to 2 men. Auburn fullback Brent Fullwood and Alabama's Rory Turner. Alabama had led most of the day and was up 17-15. But on a final frenzied drive, Auburn had worked the ball down to the Alabama 1. Instead of going for the field goal, Coach Pat Dye sent Fullwood around right in. 2 things went wrong for Auburn. Bo Jackson wasn't where he was supposed to be, and Rory Turner was. Fullwood was stopped, or as Turner put it, I waxed the dude. You want to talk about big plays? Well, the last 5 minutes of that 1979 Alabama-Penn State Sugar Bowl game was stuffed with big plays. Everybody remembers vividly the goal line stand, but before that happened, there was a huge play when Don McNeil stopped Penn State wideout Scott Fitzke.
Barry Krause made the play that everybody talks about. What a great play. But my memory is the play that I made that set that goal line play. I think it was 2nd and 1, 2nd and goal, and they threw a little swing pass to Scott Fitzke, and I had the opportunity to come up and make a great play on Scott Fitzke. Glad I was there, and we won it all that year.
After McNeil's gut-tough play, Alabamans still couldn't breathe because Penn State still had 2 chances to go 34 inches.
Everything came down to the final game. Well, we got in the huddle and we talked about it, and I said, you know what? I said, everything Coach Bryant was talking about, the goal line stand, it's called gut check. All of a sudden we realized that, hey, the whole national championship rides on this one play. And the guy jumped over the top. We had a great surge by the defensive line, reestablished the line of scrimmage, and fortunately for me, I jumped across and made the tackle.
We were well drilled at that time. Ken Donahue did an excellent job preparing us to play against Penn State. And just to be a part of that team, to be a part of Coach Bryant, Ken Donahue, Barry Krause, Jeff Rutledge, Rich Wingo, be a part of those guys. We were playing for each other, and that's why we won the way we did.
The Sugar Bowl inspired the Tide defense in the 70s like nothing else could. Against Ohio State in '78, Marty Lyons had 9 solo tackles, leading the Tide to a 35-6 victory. In 1981, the defense gave Bryant another goal line stand to remember in his last game against Penn State. Alabama had controlled the game, but Penn State was threatening. defense with a capital D. You win with defense, you show off with offense. A year later, in Paul Bryant's last game, big defensive plays assured the Crimson Tide a victory against Illinois in the Liberty Bowl. Jeremiah Castile tied a Liberty Bowl record with 3 interceptions. But Illinois was threatening until Russ Wood smashed Illinois quarterback Tony Eason for a 10-yard loss at the Alabama 40. A Robbie Jones interception salted away the win, and Coach Paul Bryant walked out of the stadium with win number 323. Wore you out, did we? You got to be hardy to be a member of the Alabama football faithful. You got second 100 years coming up. Better get in shape.